flying the ship in No Man's Sky in VR does feel a lot different to flying it flat anyway. There's a few different ways that you can do it, so you can use the motion controls to do like the virtual HOTAS, or you can also use a gamepad if you want to, and I made a video ages ago about how to set up a HOTAS in No Man's Sky as well. I'm not sure if that hack still works anymore, but yeah, there's various ways. Now it's not just how it feels in terms of like the controls and stuff like that, but just flying around these planets can feel really differently. So I'm currently just in space in my Corvette as usual, and this time I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I didn't want to change the cockpit because I like the standard cockpit in terms of how it looked outside from the outside, but the interior was just like a basic cockpit. I've now upgraded it to the Ambassador cockpit, and this makes a pretty big difference in terms of how the game feels to fly in VR. So this cockpit has this huge glass dome at the front, and you can look back and see your ship there as usual, and then the sensation of flying and moving around, especially on planet surfaces, is it's a big difference in terms of how it feels. So let's go down to a planet's surface anyway and just glide around, and we'll see what that's like. So as I went through the atmosphere there, you can look all around in this dome and see everything as you progress down to the surface. And it reminds me in some ways of, if for anybody that's played Elite Dangerous, but the ASUS Explorer, you've got a big glass cockpit in that as well, where you can see a lot of your surrounding area, and this reminds me of that, but even more so. It sort of takes it to the next level really. But flying around these surfaces, you get more of a sensation of speed as well. Somebody commented on one of my previous videos that this Ambassador cockpit feels like it was almost made for VR. Like this is what the developers have made for the VR players, and I've got to agree with that. This is like the best cockpit that I've tried so far, and yeah, it works really well. But just gliding over the surface like this, I feel like the patches that have been coming over the past few days in this game have really improved the performance overall as well. So initially I was a little bit underwhelmed with some of the performance improvements that they made with this 6.0 update. They mentioned that they're using like the multi-threaded CPU support now, but I didn't notice a massive difference when I first went in. Now I really feel like it is making a difference, because the micro stutters as I'm flying around here are almost non-existent now. I'll go and land on the surface, and then I'll show you around some of the other stuff that I've been doing with this Corvette anyway. It's quite warm here today, so I'm steaming up a little bit in the headset. So yeah, I thought I'd put in these rounded windows near the cockpit. It's good just to look out, and if you're in space you can look out at the planets and see the views and stuff. But then I've also added this Ambassador cabin as well, so I've got another one that I can put somewhere. It's really making because I can expand this Corvette out quite a bit, but I want it to, you know, still be okay when you look at it from the outside as well, which can mean that you got to limit what you can do in terms of the interior. I don't want to make this ship too big, that's the thing. I want it to be still a medium-sized ship really. But yeah, I've got some boosters, and then you can see the cockpit from the outside as well there. But yeah, there's plenty I can do still to expand this. So I'm not playing this on a creative mode or anything like that. This is my normal save, this is my main save as well. And to make these Corvettes and get all the parts for it, as well as unlocking some of the interior decorations and things like that, it can actually burn through some of your resources. So yeah, I need to focus a little bit more on getting some credits and nanites and things like that now. So that's really what I'm focusing on in order to expand it. But yeah, it's still got me hooked this update, this Voyager's update. In fact, it's better than it's ever been. This is the best the game has ever been to me, and I've always been a big fan, as you know. So yeah, I think I don't really want to stop playing it at the minute or anything. I am thinking about doing the expedition mission that has just started as well, but then again, it's almost like starting from scratch if you do that. I don't know, I feel like I just want to spend most of my time getting a few more resources and money and stuff and expanding my Corvette as it is. In fact, I might even just make a start from scratch with a different Corvette in my main save, because you can have multiple, I believe. So yeah, I just wanted to give a heads up for anybody that isn't aware. If you do have a Corvette and you're playing VR, I'd definitely give that Ambassador cockpit a try. Let's go back in and I'll take off, because that's where it hits you the most, I think. But you get a sensation of speed. It's almost like, I tell you what it's like, when you first go into VR and you get almost a sense of vertigo in some games and experiences. This is giving me that for the first time in a long time. So just flying around this surface, just having the ability as well, you know, it's all like a persistent ship that you've got, this full ship. It's astonishing really how they've achieved all this, I think, when you've got games like Elite Dangerous, which, although as much as I love Elite Dangerous for what it is, adding stuff like this, the developers just don't seem to understand the value that this adds to immersion, having a ship that you can walk around. And I was watching a video by Obsidian Ant as well, where he was talking, it's almost like an extension of the player by having a ship that you can do various things with, walk around and take it with you as you explore. It makes a big difference to how the game feels, and I do agree with that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Not a lot to say, I just wanted to show people the Ambassador cockpit anyway. But yeah, I'll continue my journey with this game, and I'll probably be making more videos on it as well. So it's turning into a little bit of a No Man's Sky channel, I know, at the moment, but I'll get back to some other stuff at some point. But yeah, this is pretty much all I want to play at the moment. So thank you very much for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.